It's been 10 days since I was in this stand and had the decoy below me and had that 8-point come in. A lot has happened since then. In fact, yesterday I was hunting out of my saddle and I had the decoy at the base of my tree. I had no clue a buck had came working in towards the decoy from directly behind me. He was there for several minutes and I was oblivious. Check out this footage of what happened next.
Today's hunt is brought to you by New View Hunting. Affordable hunting gear shipped to your door. New View Hunting. Keep listening to hunters. Also brought to you by Hang Free. HangFree.co offers hundreds of products for the mobile, tree stand, and saddle hunter. Hang Free. Everything you need.
I'd hate to know how many times that happens, that we have deer within seeing distance of us and we have no clue. Fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, I have cameras rolling so I can review the footage and know exactly what happened, what the cameras captured, even though I didn't see it happening. Now back to today's hunt, I had a buck at first light standing out in the middle of the field, just standing there, and then I saw some coyotes out a couple hundred yards away from the buck. I thought he was just keeping a close eye on those coyotes. Turns out there was a doe bedded directly in front of the buck and he was trying to tend her. They ended up running away and out of sight, but it's good to know that there's a hot doe in the area, or at least within a couple hundred yards of this area. So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled and hopefully we have some more action this morning. I just had that doe and 2 fawns out here maybe 100 yards in front of me. They were definitely nervous. It's a good bit windy today, so I'm not sure if the wind has them nervous or if there's a buck that they're keeping their eye on. But at least I'm seeing deer. That keeps it exciting. happening. There's a doe that's must be in heat or right on the verge in the cornfield out here in front of me, and at least 3 different buck. They're running around, and I'm just seeing glimpses of them. I've been wearing out the grunt tube and crashing the antlers together and trying to convince at least one of them to come over here and check out the decoy. And between the wind and them running around about 100 miles an hour and in and out of the cornfield, I'm capturing virtually 0 of this on camera. So an interesting change of plans. My wife got a hold of me and said she could see a deer from the house window, and it was walking slowly across the fields, and then she thinks it bedded down. She said it definitely looks sick or injured or something's wrong with it. So I literally left all of my stuff up in the tree, and I just went to the house and talked with my wife. She showed me exactly which field she last saw the deer in. I'm going to try and sneak across the fields and get within bow range. It's the rut. Anything could happen. I don't know if this deer got injured in the rut. The other possibility is that it got hit by a vehicle. Where she last saw it was just a couple 100 yards away from the roadway, and maybe it was chasing doe and got hit by a car. I have no idea, but I'm going to try and sneak across the fields and see how close I can get. Well, definitely not the way I planned to get my buck this year. I was able to get within bow range of that buck and put him out of his misery. Definitely not much of a hunt, more of a mercy kill. But as I was sneaking up to him, I actually thought he may have died. He kind of had his head laid down on his side, but at one point he whipped his head up and he kind of looked around. I think he had heard me coming. Simply waited him out, and pretty soon he laid his head back down, and I was able to get within bow range at that point and make a good, quick, clean kill. Definitely an interesting way to fill my buck tag. I felt like I had two choices here today: to either call a game warden and wait possibly hours for him to come and assess the situation, or I could legally use my buck tag and my bow and put the deer out of its misery, and that's what I chose to do. So I was able to get within 20, maybe 22 yards away for the shot. When I shot, he actually jumped up and came running straight towards me. I know the action cameras make it look like a million miles away, but I was in a bit of a panic mode. In fact, a bit scared as he was running straight towards me. I could not get another arrow fast enough. About the time I got my second arrow, he simply tipped over and was dead within a couple of seconds. So let's go take a closer look at him. This is my 2024 buck. Here in Pennsylvania, we get one buck tag, and I chose to use it today to put this guy out of its misery. Bit of a roller coaster of events, how this day unfolded. You just never know how it's gonna go, and this was definitely unique. This buck either got hit on the road or got injured during the rut. He was not doing well, and I was glad I could put him out of its misery as quickly as I did. So I wanted to pause the story right here because I know a lot more now than I did then. Put a lot more pieces of the puzzle together. As soon as I got the deer, I got it cleaned up, and I'm happy to say I was able to get nearly 50 pounds of venison from him. The meat was good, but I was still curious exactly what happened to this deer. I went down to the roadway that you could see in the background. The vehicles were traveling there, and sure enough, I was able to find blood on the roadway. Not far away from the blood was also pieces of a vehicle's headlight. So I'm 99% certain that this deer was hit by a car. In fact, across the roadway from where this deer was hit, I did find the deer's bed and some blood in the bed. My mind immediately then went back to 12, maybe 13 hours before I shot this deer. It was around midnight the night before. There was a vehicle pulled into my driveway. My security cameras captured this vehicle pulling in. Now, it's pretty unusual that I get any visitors here on the farm around midnight. This vehicle pulled in and then just sat there for several minutes before leaving. The driver never got out of their vehicle. I'm now suspicious that this vehicle either hit the deer or saw it happening, maybe pulled into my driveway to make a phone call or to regroup. I'm still not sure on that part. But it now made sense to me why somebody may have been in my driveway at midnight on the day before. Now this leads me to the final piece of the puzzle, and that is the other half of the deer's rack. If I found blood on the roadway and pieces of the headlight, I knew exactly where this deer was hit. Surely I could find his other half of the rack. I searched and searched and searched and could not find the other half of the rack, and I was actually resolved to the fact that I was not going to find it. In fact, the antlers could have been stuck in the car's grill. Obviously, it was a frontal hit because I had pieces of a Ford headlight laying there along the roadway. Or possibly the person that hit it or somebody else driving past stopped and picked up the other half of the rack. Obviously, the deer had got out of there and was bedded down in the nearby fence row. So I had all but given up on finding the other half of the rack. The following day, I searched some more and could not find it. But then I took my secret weapon along, my wife. Truth be told, she has much better eyes and finds way more sheds in any given year than what I do. So I took her along, and in 5 or 10 minutes, she found the other half. Now, before you're too hard on me, I was expecting to find something that matched the half that was already attached to the buck's head. It looked nowhere like that. In fact, it was a very unique rack, and you can see possibly why I hadn't found it. I was looking for something that was going to match it, and I thought there was no way it could be laying there that I couldn't see it. So definitely a unique rack, and thanks to my wife's eagle eye, she found it for me and completed this entire puzzle.
I now feel like Paul Harvey, and now you know the rest of the story. So now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever used your tag to end the suffering of an animal? If so, I'd love to hear your stories, so please put them down in the comment section. Although my buck tag is filled, my hunting season is not quite over, so there'll be some more hunting videos to come. I may even get out on a bear hunt, so stay tuned for that. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you to New View Hunting and HangFree.co for sponsoring today's video. Get exclusive savings by using the discount codes listed in the description below.